Hello everyone and welcome to the Rising Giant, Incredible Journeys Behind podcast. Today with me I have another guest. She's my friend, my teammate and Italian national team player, Katja Schroffenegger. Katja, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for the invite.
Well, I'm happy for you to say yes, especially because you're Italian and I have a hard time getting Italians on the podcast because of the English. So thank you. All right, you've had a pretty good career so far. Played for big clubs, actually great career. So can we start on the beginning? Like where and when did you start playing football? Why did you decide for football?
Yeah, I think football was always a part of me. When I was a kid, a little younger, I always had a ball. Can remember I have a lot of photos with a ball with me. No Barbies, but always a ball.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, when I was 6, I had a neighbor, a lady, and his boy went to school with my sister, and he was playing football in a little club in Bolzano. And I'm from a little village in the mountains, and we don't have a football club there. So she always brought the son to the football training in the city. And then he's 3 years older than me. I asked if I can come to watch. So me and other little brothers and sisters, we watched the training from the older boys. And then at one point we played football on the stripe outside from the pitch. Yeah, and that was then my first team. So at one point this mom said, yeah, let's do even the championship. So when I was in the 3rd class, under 9, we did our first championship. The first year we were pretty good with the boys. And then for 7 years we lost like every match.
Well,
so yeah, it was a good lesson for the life.
Well, at that age already. Well, they said that, when you're that young, it's all about the development, not really about winning.
Like losing for 7 years, that was like really tough. At the beginning, I was always crying. I can remember my mom doesn't understand nothing about football, about sport. She said like, yeah, don't cry. If you always crying, then don't go to football. But I really liked it. So yeah, at the end I learned that it's a game and that it's all a process.
You pretty much got traumatized from an early age.
Yeah.
Okay, so you played with the boys. How did they accept you since you were a girl? Were you the only girl or were they more girls on the team?
I was at the beginning the onlyest and at the end the onlyest. And in the middle of the 7 years with the boys, my neighbor also went. My best friend at the time, she also went with me to this club, which was like really not a famous club in Bolzano, one of the worst ones maybe. Like I can remember we had one pair of clothes in 7 years. So at the beginning they were like really big and at the end they were like really short. So we had, like there were no money, no nothing. So yeah, like even the coaches, they were like maybe not the best ones, what you can find. Yeah, it was all really familiar. But yeah, I was there with my friends. And, when you're young, the important thing is to be with your friends. You don't care about if you play in Liga A, Liga B from the boys. Like that was not important. It was maybe a bit more cool if we would have won a bit more. But that was like not the case. But yeah, it was like a big lesson for the life, and yeah, the boys, they accept me because I was the vice captain all the years. Yeah, I mean, I was the first one what was there saying, yeah, let's make a team. So I was always there when it was raining. I was the goal what had the most kilometers to make for going to training, and I was always there because I loved it. And so yeah, I really liked playing with those boys, and then. With a few, I'm also in contact now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Like it's funny that you said that you're still in contact with someone, like some of them. Actually, to me, it happened that one guy that I play with, he's working as a driver right now, And one day I was going to the national team, and he picked me up as a taxi, and he was looking at me, and I was like, that's weird, like, why are you like staring at me? And he was like, do you remember me? I was like, sorry, no. Like I used to say to people, yeah, and pretend a little bit, because I was just like, oh my gosh, it's awkward that I don't know you or I don't remember you. And now I'm just kind of like, whatever, like, sorry, I just don't know who you are. And he's like, well, we used to play football together, when we were like 10 years old. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I remembered who he is. But it's crazy how different paths that we go on afterwards. But yeah, I remember that was like just those years with the boys, probably one of the best times in my football career.
Yeah, I also loved it. And then I remember I was playing outside as a winger. At the beginning, we didn't have positions. Like you try every position. Then I was like left winger because I was the only left foot in the team. So I did like everything with the left foot. I never used the right foot because you have one left foot and you use only that one. So I did like corners, free kicks. I did all. So even like now I'm a bit not the typical goalie because I have a really good left foot and not the right foot. So that's like, because in that time I can remember, like, yeah, they said always, yeah, you need to do all with the left foot, and I loved it. I really loved it. Yeah, being even a bit in the middle from the boys, they accept me, they liked me, so yeah, I was feeling good there.
Yeah, I also remember, like, I guess I was one of the 3 best players, and obviously 2 boys, and I was a girl. So
yeah, I was also not so bad there. So
exactly. So I remember when we had to do things in pair. Like in pairs, like I was always switching between those 2. So it was a little bit like when I was with one, then the other one was not happy, and vice versa. So but when we were in 3, then after we've been together. Okay, so when did you decide to be a goalie then?
Yeah, basically, my wish was to be a goalie also when I played with the boys, but they said like, no, let's put the fattest one in the goal. So I was really skinny. So it's like, no, you need to play outside because we need your left foot. So I always ask every year at school. I was playing in the goal. I had even the first gloves from Buffon, from Reusch. I can remember like really 30 years ago. And yeah, and then when I went with the girls, I did like 1 year. I played with the boys and I played with the girls. You can like have an extra permission. I played in the 5th league. So when I was 13, I had an extra permission. Usually from over 14, you can play with adults, with the girls. Mm-hmm. So I had for 1 year an extra permission. I played there, and I played, so like on Sunday I played in the goal with the girls, and on Friday maybe I played with the boys as a winger. And then I trained like 2 times with the boys and 2 times with the girls.
I think that's one thing that is very good for you, playing as a, like, out on the field as well, like not just as a goalie, because if we look the way women's football is going right now, goalies, like, they have to know how to play football now. Like if you're not good with your feet, that pretty much you can't get to the highest level. So I think, and those young years are the crucial years to develop the technique.
Yeah, I can remember even the first years when I was playing in Bundesliga, I was always a player who liked having the ball, which is like for a goalie a bit strange. So I was always saying, even to the central defenders, let's play football. And I can remember there was the rule was different, that the central defenders, they couldn't come into the box like when the ball was there. Mm-hmm. So now they changed the rule. Now they are always close to me and I play to the central defenders. But one time, 15 years ago, that was not the case. So but I said like, okay, then stay on the line and I give you the ball and then we play football. Then maybe you give it to me back because I'll like playing. And they said always, no, let's play a long ball. And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, this was like the first years in Bundesliga, which was like really heavy. And now, if you see how it developed, now everybody's playing football from behind. So
yeah,
so something what I said like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and nobody's listened. And now it's like no. So
No, yeah, obviously football changed a lot and keeps changing very fast. If you can't play, if you're not with your feet as a goalkeeper now, I think you just can't be at the highest level.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot, but obviously, yeah, at one point then you can see it. And even, I think the teammates, they can feel if you're calm when you have the ball on the feet. And if I would be like a defender, yeah, I would love to have a goalie which like calm with the ball on the foot.
I think the entire team, not just the defenders,
Yeah.
like I think everyone is more calm and secure if you know that you have a good goalkeeper. It's a necessity.
Yeah, now you need to have it, yeah.
You kind of mentioned it, Buffon. Was he your idol, or did you at that age, did you always wanted to play professional? Did you think that that's even possibility?
When I was young, no. I had this big passion for football, but I was not thinking, okay, I will be a pro, because I had no female model. So basically it was so far being a pro footballer. I saw the men and I said like, okay, I cannot do that because I'm not a man. So yeah, then growing, when I was 20, I went to Germany. Then I saw, okay, I can be a pro athlete. And then, yeah, we did a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, even with the federation, with the players' union, for getting pro also here in Italy. And now I'm really happy that I'm still playing and I can say, okay, I played as a pro footballer, even in Italy. Like, that's something what we all, the whole movement, yeah, we can be proud, because it's a big step what maybe the generation before us was not able to reach. And we reached it, so it's like a big thing. And it's like also important that we continue being loud, because otherwise what now we have, it's not obviously that we have it in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is what is happening now. It started, a few years ago, I think with the 2019 World Cup in France. Even before, but this is when I think the world outside of the women's football started to see women's football. This was when they actually started to come to the games. They saw that, okay, girls can also play. So I think that now it's the movement when, like we're all speaking up, at least us who is the majority.
I can remember an episode in 2016. It was the first match from the championship, Serie A woman. We didn't play. Every team was not playing. We made a strike, because we said like, we need more rules, more possibilities. We need to be pro athletes, even if it was like so far idea. And with this strike, then it was possible to sign for 2 years, because first we only could have 10 months contracts. Yeah. And then it was like 2 years, but paid in 10 months and 10 months, because we were like only seasonal, like immaterial players. Yeah, and like watching now what we have, good contracts, like even if you earn a lot or not a lot, but with the rules and what we have now, the insurances, the pension, this is like really important for us in the future.
Yeah, obviously.
It started like 10, 15 years ago.
I feel like girls that are entering women's football now from the academies, like now they have no idea
what we did all for being now with this contract in the hand, with these facilities. Like, and even not in every club we have good facilities, but I was the last years in Fiorentina, we had the Viola Park. It was like a dream. Yeah, like, yeah, now this is what I wanted for my whole life.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I remember when I came to Italy, I was in AC Milan and I was paid, but it was not a professional contract. Well, it was not a professional league. So when the COVID came, I was lucky that I was in a big institution and I was still paid, even if majority of the other clubs, girls just didn't get the salary.
Yeah.
Because it was not professional. And I remember coming to play against Fiorentina, and at that time you played in another stadium. It was not good. It was synthetic pitch.
Yeah.
Exactly. So coming from there, that was like 2019 in my case, to what they have now, it is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think women football is really growing a lot in the last years. It's maybe one of the league what is growing the most in Europe. Yeah, maybe the English league grew more, but even the German league they didn't grow as a league. Only singular clubs grew. Like I played there from 2011 till 2016, and it was a good league. It was one of the best leagues in the world. But then they didn't grow more. Only like 3 clubs maybe. Bayern, Wolfsburg, and Eintracht Frankfurt they grew.
Exactly.
And the rest, from the league, they were like completely immaterial.
I think that, obviously their league is still good, is still one of the best, just because of they have the pool of the players. Mentality is different. They have many girls.
They have good facilities from the men.
Exactly, but not all of them are investing well. Or let's say clubs in Italy and clubs in Spain, for example, they're investing, especially the big clubs, they're investing a lot more in women's side now than whatever it's happening in Germany. Like you said,
They have
only
a plan.
a few.
Basically, in Germany, they have no plan.
Yeah, well, I to be honest, I've never been in Germany.
No, I was there.
Yeah, from what I can
there,
see.
yeah. I mean, when I went there, we had contracts, and the second year when I was there, they put in a minimum which each player needs to earn, but the minimum was €250. And I'm like, okay, how can I live with €250? So it was not the pro league. You had an insurance from the league, which was a bit better than here in Italy. Before we became pro footballer, but it was like ridiculous if you want to think to be a pro player, and everybody was working or studying there, and that's not what the league needs.
So okay, so if we go back now, when did you sign your first professional contract? When were you paid to play football the first time?
I think when I played in the Serie A2, it was the second league in Italy. Yeah, I earned my first money like every month. Then I went with this team, FC Südtirol, to the first league. It was like my hometown team. And then we went down, and then I had offers from Germany, and I went to Germany. And then I signed like my first pro contract, if you can call it like that, but we earned like for 12 months. We had an insurance and a little bit of pension, so it was like the first serious contract.
Did you, well, so I'm assuming you worked and played.
I was when I played in the Serie A2, I was finishing my school, and then we went like to the Serie A, and I said like, yeah, I need to stay at home for one more year. This was like my dream to go with my club to the Serie A. So I stayed there, and I worked as a technical drawer, because that was what I was studying basically at school. So I worked every day 8 hours, and then we had training from 8 to 10, 3 times a week. So that was it. No gym, no prevention, no doctor, no nothing.
That's crazy. I remember when I went to Spain, I signed with Espanyol, and now it's Liga F, and we trained at 8:30 at night. The last, after obviously the first men's team was in the morning and the B team, but then the entire afternoon, all the kids, everyone was in front of us.
Yeah,
we started 8:30
at night, and then we had only the half pitch.
Yeah.
Because maybe the under 19 from the men was trained there.
Yeah. We also, I think it was us and our B team.
Yeah, we also half and half, and yeah, but this happened to me a lot of times. Not in Germany, but when I went to play to Inter, with Inter, we also had half pitch for 1.5 hours, not 5 minutes before, not 5 minutes after the end of the training. That was pretty normal. And now, like, if you see how women football is growing, now it's like normal to have the whole pitch, to have it maybe in the morning or when we want, and even to have 2 big goals. Because usually the goal, what you put in the middle of the field, when you made the partitella at the end of the training, it was a small goal from when you play 7 against 7. This was normal. And now for us it's like normal that we have a whole pitch and big goals, and yeah.
Yeah, and all synthetic pitches.
Yeah, we had like really bad pitches, yeah. Like my body is saying that I trained a lot of years on bad pitches. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Okay, so you went to Germany. How did it happen? Did you have an agent at that time? I'm assuming not, but or how did that happen?
I had nobody. Honestly, I think I was playing the under 19 Euros, and we played against Germany. And at one point, Hamburger Sportverein, they contacted me. I don't know how. I can't remember if they called me or if they wrote me a mail. So they invited me to go there, me and my mom, and doing a trial. And then they offered me a contract and all. And the day before I had to go there for a trial, they wrote me that the men's side cut it money, the budget, and then that they cannot take more players from foreigners. So yeah, that was it. But I was like, now I was curious to go to Germany. So I had no agent, nobody. So I wrote to the clubs. I said like, I want to play Bundesliga.
You did like I did.
Yeah. One time that was working like that. So yeah, then I had two clubs. They said like, yeah, we'll offer you a contract. I didn't know if I was playing or not. I said like, I won't have a chance. That's enough for me. And then I was saying, yeah, I would like to study also. And in these two cities, it was possible to study. The club they agreed. It was fine.
So there was Jena
and another club, yeah. And then at the end, I went there for seeing if I like it. With my mom, we went there a few days. And then I said like, yeah, this is what I want. My mom said like, this is what I don't want. So at the end, I said like, yeah, but I'm like 19 now, and I will decide.
You're a big girl.
Yeah, I'm a big girl now, and I want to go. So yeah, and then I went from one day to the other. I went to
How was it? Were you homesick?
No, I was never homesick. The thing was that between Jena and my hometown, it's like there are like 700 kilometers. It's like 10 hours of train, so it was like far. So I couldn't call my mom, please come. And at the beginning, like when the year before, I was working. I was working at the evening. I was training, and in my holidays from work, I was going to national team. So basically, the whole home stuff my mom made, all the post, all the cleaning the house, and so ever. So I was not able to do nothing. So I had to learn all from zero. I went to Jena. Basically, my mom put all the whole kitchen stuff in the car because I went there with a few clothes, football boots, and nothing more. And she was thinking, okay, you need this, and this in the house. But I didn't know that because I never cooked. So I didn't know what you need for cooking. So she prepared all, and then yeah, I was like there. At first I learned making an egg. Then I learned making cacao. So I learned like really the easy stuff.
You had to grow up.
Yeah, I had to learn all fast, and even like with all the taxes and the papers, and you're a foreigner and you need a bank account and you need a fiscal code. And so yeah, I learned all from zero. The whole German system, which was a problem when 5 years later I came back because I didn't know nothing from the Italian system. So when I was 25, I had to learn the Italian system, which was completely the opposite from the German system. The health system, the tax system, all. So I learned it, basically I learned it 2 times.
Well, pretty much you have a double citizenship now. I think that us athletes, we are a step ahead of the majority of the other people because of those things. If you wanted to be more professional, you had to go to Germany. If I wanted to even play professional, I had to go abroad. And this is where you have to do things on your own. You have to grow up. Yeah. That's why I think that I would send everyone, every single person, no matter, if you're an athlete, if you're not an athlete, away from home for a certain period of time, just to, first of all, to learn how to do stuff on your own and how to grow up, and also just to see different culture, different people, to become more open.
Yeah, and even to go out from the comfort zone.
Exactly.
Because we also have a lot of Italian players. I mean, the Italian league is growing, so basically you could stay here now. But maybe you are in your city or you're with your friends since a lot of years, and then you're always in your comfort zone. And you're never growing maybe what you need. And we have also a few national team players where I would say, yeah, if you want to do the next step, you need to go out, like in a good league, of course. But you need to go out, even if you're 1 year on the bench, but then you learn. Then you come back and then you're a better player. But you need to go out. And that's what usually Italian players are not doing.
Yeah, definitely you're mentally stronger. If nothing else, like I said before, you learn different culture, different language, especially if you end up on the bench or if you have any other difficulties. This is where, the mental strength really comes into play.
Yeah.
All right, so you went from Jena to Bayern. How was it? It's a huge football institution. How was playing for that kind of a club? How was women's football there at that time anyway? Because now obviously we know they're playing Champions League. They're one of the best clubs in the world, men's and women's. So how was at that time?
Yeah, I can remember when they called me. I was like really excited. And they said to me that their intention was to call me even a year before, but I had a big wrist injury, so I was out for 1 year. So they waited till I was fit again. So I played a few matches, and then they called me. Yeah, for me it was like clear from the first second that I want to do that, even if the captain from the team was the goalie. So I knew at the beginning that I was not playing. So yeah, I signed for 2 years. After 1 week, I tore my ACL.
Wow.
So I was out for 1 year in a new city, no friends basically, and I didn't know nobody. So the first year was really tough. That was like a challenging myself year, I would say. And the second year, yeah, I saw finally the club, how it was working. The club really grow from that year, from the season before to that year. When I arrived, we had like no national team players, nothing. We arrived 4th in the league. And the year after, we won the Bundesliga. We had like, I played with girls. They won the Olympics. They won the World Cups. They won Euros. So like with really, really big names in women's soccer. And yeah, I think I was there for learning. It was really a hard year because I was the second goalie, and obviously when you come back from a year from ACL where you didn't play, yeah, you were basically waiting for playing. Yeah, and then you're a second goalie and you were like never playing. So it was like really a tough year. I asked, can I play in the second team? Can I play in the second team? And at one point they said like, don't ask more. You were the second goalie in the first team. And then I said like, okay, then they offered a new contract, and I said like, no, that's not where I'm happy. Because for me, like football was, it was a game. I mean, it was my work, yeah. But my parents, they always told me, you have 2 hands and a head. You can use also that. You have not only 2 feet. So I worked, I for 10 years I worked. I studied, I did my bachelor. Yeah, so I said like, okay, Bayern was cool. It was a big experience. It was a lesson for life. But for me, football is basically a game. So if if I don't have fun, it's fine for a few months, for a few weeks. But then I need to be even mentally in a good moment. So yeah, so I was not more feeling good, and yeah. And then I think after Munich, I did the onlyest thing in my life what my heart said like, don't do it. But my head said, no, you need to do it. Because I went to Bayern Leverkusen after Munich. And yeah, it was that my heart said like, do you want to do that? But my head said like, okay, you need to stay in Germany, because in Germany they have better facilities. You can speak that language, it's fine. And you have more serious contracts. The football league in Italy in 2015 was shit. And I said like, I cannot come back. It's for me like a trauma. Yeah. So I said like, no, you need to stay in Germany. And I had this offer, and then I accept. But after 4 months, I think like, I was saying no. I called my mom. I said like, no.
Why?
Because I saw that I did a decision without following my heart. So I saw, okay, this is not my city. This is not my mentality. It was like 1,000 kilometers away from my home. I never saw my parents. I was not feeling good there.
Did you play?
I didn't play. They said to me, you will have a chance. I played 0 minutes. Yeah, and then I said like, can we please find a way, because I don't want to stay here in January. And then I went home. Then I went again to Südtirol in the Serie A.
It's crazy how sometimes you have to make, or it looks like you're making a step back in order for then making 2 steps forward, and that's what I guess happened to you after you played in Fiorentina, Inter, top clubs here in.
Yeah. I think usually you say you need to make 2 steps back for making 1 forward. I made 4 steps back for making a half forward, because I went from Bayern Munich, where we won the championship, in a 1 year to Serie B, which was like completely a drama. But in that year, I had fun again, and I said like, okay, this is my year. Or then I played 3 years in Serie B. I was a bit missing the train, the famous train where you need to jump over. I started working in my hometown, and I said like, okay, now I'm waiting for the big chance. But then I had injuries in the middle, and then the big chance was never there. And then at one point I had one last chance. I can remember my agent. Then after I had an agent, which I have still now, he called twice this club in summer, and twice the club said like, no, we don't want to have Katja.
Which club was that?
Florencia. And then at the beginning of August, they said like, yeah, we need the first goal. So for me, my future was really like in the Serie C. I was supposed to go to play Serie C, for staying at home and for continue to work. And yeah, then this club called. I called my job, said like, I will not more come. And and I went to live to Florence.
It is crazy. You almost ended up in Serie C.
I was like,
but
dying.
Then like
football player.
Exactly. But now you're a national team player.
And from Serie B to Champions League, it was 1.5 years. So it was like 4 steps back and 7 steps forward. Yeah.
It is crazy. You never know what's gonna happen or why things are.
Yeah, then we played
good.
And then I made 1 year with Florencia, which I think I exploded. So I did like really an amazing season. Even with the club, we did a really good season. I had my comeback in the national team. Then there was the COVID, so we stopped. Yeah, and then I signed for Fiorentina, and then I was back playing Champions League.
Crazy. So would you say that, you going back and having fun again, was that kind of like brought you back to life in a football way, or were you ever thinking about quitting?
Quitting, no. I love football too much, but I was thinking to play in the Serie C in South Tyrol and continue working, and then like waiting for a call. But it can also happen that you will have a call.
Yeah.
So I was basically waiting. I was training the whole summer, and then at the beginning of August, which is like really really late, they called my agent. They said like, yeah, we need the first goal, and then I called immediately my job, because I had that idea since like 1 year, I think. Then I called the job, and they were like all happy. They said like, yeah, we know that you are a football player. You are a good worker, but you are a football player. Yeah, and then I went to Florence, and
It's crazy how, first of all, how things in football can change so quickly, and how if you do everything that you can do, and then you just trust, and if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
I was training the whole year. I can remember I didn't went to the World Cup that year, but I had 6 weeks of holidays with my work, because I kept all my holidays for going to the World Cup, but then I didn't go. So I had basically the whole summer I had holidays. So I went to different places, and I trained in every place. I can remember I trained every morning in Budapest. I trained every morning in Amsterdam. I traveled a lot. I was in Albania. I trained in every place with the things what I could find for training. But I was still there ready for this call. And then this call arrived at the beginning of August. Yeah. And then I made the big party at home, I can remember. I even made a big poster, something I wrote on it, Serie A, I'm back. Something like that, yeah.
It's crazy. So, you never gave up?
No, I never gave up.
It was paid off. You've already spoken a little bit about the obstacles. So what would you say were some of your biggest obstacles on the way to being professional, and then obviously throughout the career?
Yeah, I think obviously big obstacles were like the conditions how we played football a few years ago in Italy. They were like so bad, because there were like some clubs, they expected from us to train like a 2, but if you don't pay, and if we don't have a rent, and if we don't have an insurance, how do you think that I cannot work? Like, can we please train later? Other obstacles were like the injuries. Like, I was out, I think, in totally for 7 years in the last 15 years, which is like really a lot. And then even like in a few moments where I didn't feel trust from people around me, that were like really big obstacles, because I had maybe big injuries, but the problem was not the injury, but the problem was the people around me. So at one point from my career, I said to me, I need a really good foundation in my life. So everything what will happen after, it will not, I will not miss my way. So I built a really big foundation with all in. With first of all, I searched for a long time for a good manager, then for a good lawyer. Then I made my own medical stuff, my physio. So I always knew, okay, when I have an injury, I can go there, I can ask here. Then a big part is also like the family, the boyfriend. So I made a really big foundation, and I'm feeling this years that everything what is happening, maybe one floor is falling down, but the foundation is still there. And that's like, I think that's the most important thing. And that's so important that even the younger players, they understand that when you're young, maybe you're doing well for 1 year, then you're flying on the cloud 9 and you think, okay, I'm the best, okay. But if you're flying immediately up, you can also fall immediately down. And if you don't have a big foundation after, or if you have a big injury, which then maybe you have no offer. Like, you really need to have a big foundation in women's football more than in men's football, I think.
Honestly, because we earn way less.
We earn less. There's less scouting, and people, like, we are getting still contracts because somebody knows somebody, and that's not serious stuff. So I learned with the years that I need a big foundation, and then I can really live better. So yeah, now I'm feeling that I have a good foundation, and then when I have an injury or something, it's not all falling down, only a little part.
Obviously, I think that, you're talking about the support system, that I think everyone has to build a support system. It's something that you can lean on or fall back on, count on, even in the worst times. It's necessary. Everyone has to have
it. I think in my first years, even when I was playing in Germany, this foundation was not good in my life. I felt it. And then I was at one point where I was going to play in Serie C. I said, okay, I need to build this foundation bigger and better, because otherwise every time when I have something, an obstacle, an injury or something, I'm making 10 steps back, and then I'm risking, not to play more football or to play Serie C, which was not my dream. And I had so much more talent and passion for playing higher level. So that was something what in the last years I tried to build big.
It's very important, and everyone should think about it. Because like you said, whenever things are going great, I remember my first season in AC Milan, things were going absolutely wonderful. In 1 year, I was on the bottom. From there to there, obviously at that time, and still, I had my family, and they're very good. but I felt so alone. You know, like it was just because I had nothing else but football. You know, I defined myself as a football player, and right now I don't define myself anymore as a football player. I'm just a person who's playing football.
Yeah,
among other stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
You know, so it's very very easy to go up and even easier to fall down. Speaking about injuries, you've had quite a few serious injuries, long-term injuries. Like, what were they? You mentioned ACL. You're just coming from another operation, going through the rehab. Probably that's one of the hardest time in an athlete career to have an injury. Like, what did you have? How you dealt with it?
Yeah, I think I had injuries in every moment from my career. When I was really young, now when I'm like an older player, I handled the injuries always in a different way. Because when you were young, it's like the first experience. You know nothing about how rehab is working. Or now I have more experience, so I completely handle injuries in a different way. And yeah, basically it's always tough when you're out, or when you know, okay, this injury will take 1 year. It's like really tough. Yeah, I'm trying to become a better player and a better person every day, and also trying to give my best every day. And if at the moment my best is 40%, then if today I give 40%, it's my maximum. It's good.
100.
It's by 100. So this is good. If 2 weeks ago my best was 5% because I had surgery, this was good. If 2 weeks ago my 100% was doing a walk, then I did a walk every day because I knew, okay, if today a walk is my 100%, in a week doing stairs is my 100%, and in 2 weeks doing the first, like today, the first trappa with the first squats with 40 kilo, which is like terrible, but it was the first weights after 3 weeks of off.
Obviously, you had
It was a good step.
a lung surgery.
Yeah, I had a lung surgery, so it was like it was a good step today, and yeah, I'm thinking in these little steps, and never thinking about when should I be on the pitch, in which condition, because that makes you only nervous. I learned also not to have datas. When should I be back? In which match? No, this doesn't exist more. And yeah, like doing every day the steps what I need to do, giving 100%, my 100%, not the others 100%. And then at the end, the result would be good, of course. Like, because you know, okay, I gave all the whole year.
Yeah, you said something. We spoke maybe a week ago, and you said, you know, body has his own timing. You said, you know, like I was pushing, and then it didn't go the way I wanted or I expected. But then all of a sudden, the body just decided to, you know, to give my foot a permission to move more or to be relaxed or to heal. So it's just, you know, I guess you really learn to listen to your body and to have patience.
Yeah,
And to trust
of course. I think after a lot of injuries, of course you learn that. You listen so a lot to your body. How is it feeling today? Can I push more? Like, and you also speak more with the rehab coach, with the physios, because if they know more, then they can also react better. And I think also the best doctor, I'm myself the best doctor. So yeah, the others, they can say something, but then it's like, how am I feeling?
Do you ever, whenever you are healthy and you go to the training or the game, are you ever scared to get injured since you had so many, you know, you tore her ACL, you had just coming from a lung surgery, then a chronic Achilles surgery. Are you ever scared?
No, I'm not scared, because I think if you're scared about getting injured, then your head will send messages through your body, and you will like have even more injuries. Yeah, I had my last surgery in 2013, And then I was trying to find a balance. And then I was thinking that I really found a balance in my body.
Wait, 2013 was the first one.
No, I had my wrist in 2011 and my ACL in 2013.
Okay.
So I was like, the years after, I was thinking I need the balance in my body. And I was really saying, okay, I'm getting better, I'm learning, I'm more listening to my body and all. And then this year I had like this chronicle thing, what basically can happen. Because chronicle stuff can happen. It's like nothing what is doing crack, or it's not a big injury.
So you had that for a long time and you were just pushing over.
Yeah, I was trying to. I found for a lot of years I found a good balance, and then this year in July it was worse than. I understood that it was worse than I was thinking. That we all were thinking. Like we did more exams, and then we saw, okay, I need surgery and I will be out for a bit. Yeah, and then the lung thing, you can never know.
So pretty much your advice is just to never give up and just to go step by step. Pretty much think day by day and do your max, whatever you can give that day. Yeah. Going back to Fiorentina, you had a very interesting experience there. On one hand, you had probably the best conditions you've ever had, and in my opinion, obviously I haven't played for all the clubs in Serie A, but I think right now they have the best conditions out of all the clubs in Serie A. And then on the other hand, you were not dealing with injury, but you were dealing with another situation. You were playing pretty much every other game, and you kind of knew that you're going 50-50 with another goalkeeper, and you struggled with that. How was that? And this is also the reason why you decided to leave.
Yeah, basically, the other goalie is also a good goalie, or was a good goalie. My third year in Fiorentina was the first year where they decided to do this stuff without saying it to me. And the other goalie then was out the first 6 months, so I played always. After I signed a new contract, and they told me that. And I said, like, no, you need to tell me this before I signed a new contract. Like, are you joking? So basically, the year after, what was my last year, I knew that were the conditions. Playing one match yes, one match no, even if you are in the best moment of your life or if you are playing shit. It doesn't matter. You play one match yeah and one match no. I learned in the last years that I have a big foundation. So I said always, I love Fiorentina, I love Firenze, but I will decide when it's time to go. I had a contract last year, I had a contract even this year. And I said to Fiorentina, if these are the conditions even next year, I don't accept this thing because you're fucking up my mental health. And then I said that to them, or they make a decision, which will not mean that one goal is playing 100% and the other 0. It can also mean 60-40 or 70-30. I don't care, or who is more in shape will play, but not 1-1-1-1. My experience said to me, it's great when you can choose on your own, when are not others what are choosing. So at the end I choose to change club, to change city, to begin again a new experience. Because even what I learned in Germany after 5 years, I was mentally completely like, and then I think it's important to can decide to do another step in your life and to change direction, because not only one direction is going to the goal, even other directions or bringing you to the goal. So I was happy that I learned that my foundation was good, and I think that was the right step to do for me, for my mental health.
I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a field player or a goalkeeper. I think one of the worst things is that that it doesn't matter how you train, that decisions of who's playing, who's not playing come from different reasons, not from the way you perform and like the way others perform in the training. And then that's mentally exhausting. All right, so you spoke about the mental health. How important do you think it is to have a mental coach? you had someone to help you in Fiorentina to go through those things. Yeah, how important do you think it is to speak about it, not just, you know, to a professional, but also, you know, like we're speaking right now, so that everyone can hear, like other players maybe, or even people who don't have an access to someone, you know, but they're dealing with those situations, that they can hear about it.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was thinking that we need a mental coach only when we have big injuries, for example. So when I tore my ACL, we had a psychologist in Bayern Munich. She was like quite our team manager, but she studied psychology. So I did sessions with her, and I said like, okay, this is really cool. And at the beginning, I was thinking, okay, I need it only when I'm in a down period. Last year, it was the best example that you need a mental coach or somebody who's on your side, even when you're doing your best season. Because last year, I think I did my best season till now in my career, and I said it to him, to the mental coach Arturo. I like working with you now because I'm in my best period. Because I was always thinking you don't need one when you are like flying on the cloud, but it's especially there that you need one, even like when you're in a down period. But I notice that it's like in every down or up period, like you need a mental coach, you need people around you, you need, I don't know, when you have an injury, you need a physiotherapist, which is like more than only a massage man. Like you need to speak with him about, or that you can speak with him about all. That's like really important. So yeah, I think the mental health, now we are speaking a bit more about that. Great that we are speaking more, but there's so much more to do, because I think it should be a part of the stuff. It should be like how we have a trainer, how we have a nutritionist now. We should have a mental coach who is even on the pitch with us. Because last year we had this mental coach, which was a few times a week on the pitch with us, and then we had the singular sessions, and then we had sometimes group sessions, and I learned a lot. I enjoyed a lot. I learned even how to manage myself better with him. We did meditations together, personalized meditations, so it was like really, we did a great job. And I think if I didn't struggle with the situation that I played one match yes and one match no, it was because on the mental side, I was feeling well. And I was feeling that I was doing a great job. So for me, it should be like, yeah, the mental coach should be like a fixed part from every stuff in every club.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Especially because, you know, you can have the best physical abilities, you know, technical abilities, everything, but if you are not mentally okay, then nothing else matters. I think everything starts and ends, you know, up here.
Yeah, I said it last year to my goalie coach, which is an amazing goalie coach. I really loved every single session. He was so prepared, so he studied so a lot. I said, like, you're preparing me so good for the weekend. You're training with me so good from Monday to Saturday, but what are you doing on Sunday is like fucking up my mental health. So I honestly, I said that to him.
But obviously, you know, like, he's still the boss. You have to follow, and then it's up to you to take care of yourself. Because I think also, if mentally you're not okay, this is when majority of the injuries are then.
Of course, I saw that in Germany, that at one point, yeah, I couldn't go more out from the circle, and I said like I need to change my life completely, and yeah, and then I went back to home, to Italy.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the fact that, you know, a lot of people, well, first of all, in the old days, it was like, if you have a mental coach, there's something is wrong with you.
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah, first thing. And then we went to the, okay, now, like, it's okay to have a mental coach, it's good, but only when I'm struggling.
Yeah, only when I'm not
like,
okay. Yeah.
exactly.
In the down period. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you don't need one.
The irony is that now, when I'm constantly working with someone, the probability of getting to down like the lowest point is way less, because like even before I thought like I'm fine, and then it was like boom.
Yeah.
And then I was calling, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
But now it's like maybe I don't even realize that I'm on the way there, but just because I'm already like talking to someone, on a weekly basis, I catch the train that is going down earlier, and it doesn't, I frame it like it doesn't go down anymore. So I think that's why it's, it's important to do it on a to do
Every time.
weekly basis,
Yeah.
pretty much.
In every moment from your career, I think it's important that this person is always there.
Yeah, I definitely agree also that it should be just as important as having a strength and conditioning coach or any other position that it's normal to have on the team. Nutritionist. No. Technically, we have a professional league, professional contracts, but how far do you think we are still from professionalism? A true professionalism with everything.
Yeah, I think for the clubs at the moment it's also hard for the smaller clubs, because of course this being a professional league now is asking a lot to the small clubs. So yeah, I think we are quite far. We are even far from how the girls, how not professional they are. Even not the clubs only, but even we girls. So yeah, I think there are so many steps to do, from the facilities to the organization to the mentality from the girls. I mean, yeah, we need to understand that if they call at 7 in the morning that we need to go to the physio, then we need to go. Or if we need to go 40 minutes for going to the gym, then we need to go 40 minutes to go to the gym. All those stuff, yeah.
I think it's not just, whatever they ask from us, but also, our initiation. Like,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It
Yeah,
has
I
to come
agree, yeah.
from us. You have to be professional. It doesn't need to come from a strength and conditioning coach to tell you like, oh, you need to work more, or or a nutritionist to tell you you need to what you eat.
Yeah, even I think even the clubs, they should open the gyms, and we should be so mature to say, yeah, today I need it before the training, tomorrow I need it after the training. I need it more, I need it less, I need a break, I need more training. Yeah, like I think we have so a lot to learn, and I hope that everybody's going abroad to see other cultures, other ways to play football. Yeah, because you learn so a lot, and then you come back, and then I think you're more professional. Because I can see everybody who was playing outside is coming back and is one step forward after.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. All right, you're a goalkeeper. Your boyfriend is a goalkeeper. How is it to have two goalkeepers in a relationship? We people at least used to say that in order to be a goalkeeper, you have to be a little bit special.
Yeah.
How is it like having two of those special parts together?
Yeah, I agree, and I think one of the nicest parts of our relationship is that I can understand my boyfriend, and he can understand me perfectly when we are like in those situations which only goalies can live. Because basically, yeah, you are apart from a team, but then you're not apart from a team because you're playing alone. And if we have another color from the shirt, it's because we are special. So yeah, I really love that, to be in a relationship with a goalie, because he can understand me. And even if you speak with somebody who's playing outside on the field, they cannot 100% understand you, how you are feeling, the dynamics, and he can. So that's like something what I really, really appreciate.
Can you ever disconnect? Because normally when you are even in a relationship with a football player, it's a lot of talking about football. Do you ever have a difficulties, let's say you get home after the game and just continuously, obviously it's nice to have a conversation with someone about it, but at the same time, can you ever say, okay, now it's today we don't talk about football?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we are talking about football, and I mean, he's playing in not a high league, so he's like only an amateur player. Yeah, we are able to say, okay, let's talk about something other. We have a lot of other hobbies.
All right. So last question. It's been a long conversation. What would you say to someone? Obviously, you had a great career. You actually know another question. I almost forgot to ask that. You had a great career. What is left? Like, do you have any other football dreams? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah, of course I have more football dreams. I think otherwise with this injury I would have stopped. Yeah, I'm dreaming to play a big tournament. This summer we have the Euros. I know that I'm completely out of shape, completely maybe even not called, but you know, the dreams are dreams. So yeah, I mean, I was the second goalie before, so yeah, I'm working for coming back. Playing finally with Kono because it's a shit feeling to come in a new club and never play, then being out for so long time. Yeah, I'm still dreaming to play this big tournament, and yeah, it's a lot of years that I'm trying, that I was sometimes closer to this dream and sometimes like really far. But yeah, I think that at one point God will watch from up and say, yeah, now you're ready.
It's your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Well, I hope that this happens this summer already. All right, last question. What would you say to someone who is afraid to pursue their dreams, or even to dream in general?
No, I think for me, dreaming was always the motivation to never give up. Because I think if you have no dreams, you will stop when you have like the second, the third, the fourth obstacle before you. And you will say like, no, I can go to work in the office. But I think if you have dreams, if you have even big dreams, hard dreams, yeah, that's like a way to stand up, to wake up every morning, to work hard every morning, and then to say, at the end, maybe you can say, okay, the dream is still there, but I cannot realize it. But you can say, okay, I tried it for so a lot of years.
Like you gave it all.
So yeah. So I think at the end, yeah, that's also important. At the end, it's all a process, and then if you yeah, you can realize the dream is like amazing, and otherwise it's like even amazing, because you can like watch to you and say, yeah, now I'm like a better person.
Well, thank you, Schroffi, for coming. Thank you for being a part of
Thank you.
one of my dreams. Thank you for especially saying yes to speaking in probably third language for you.
Yeah.
You did amazing. Obviously, I wish you a fast recovery, and again, so that your dreams, all of your dreams, come true.
Thank you. Yeah.